We're here today with some people who have lost loved ones, and through that loss are determined to move forward and help make sure that the rest of us don't suffer similar losses. I'm Brian Miller. I'm Executive Director of Heeding God's Call. It's a faith-based and grassroots organization devoted to reducing gun violence. And many of you know that I lost my brother Mike to gun violence many years ago. I'm not going to say much more now. I'm going to introduce the people we have behind me, which will take a little while, but you need to know who all the people that are here. We have both the folks from Newtown, and we have advocates from New Jersey, and legislators as well. So I'm going to start with the Newtown folks, and two of them will speak briefly after I get finished, which is going to be shortly. And this is Nelba Marquez-Greene, whose daughter Anna was lost in the horrible massacre at Sandy Hook. Nicole Hockley, whose son Dylan was lost, and these two are going to speak briefly in a moment. Mark and Jackie Barden, who are here. Their son Daniel was killed. And Neil Heslin, who's right behind me here, whose son Jesse was killed. We also have from different advocacy organizations, and I hope we don't miss any, Marcia Marley from Blue Wave, New Jersey, Carol Stiller from the Million Mile March of New Jersey, Craig Hirschberg, who is with the Unitarian Universalist Association Legislative Ministry of New Jersey, Rebecca Feldman, who is Morris Area Committee to Reduce Gun Violence, Irene Goldman from the Coalition for Peace Action, Mike Flynn from the New Jersey Education Association, Jeff Tittle from the Sierra Club, and if I missed anybody, I apologize. We also have some legislators here who have worked very hard to make New Jersey the safest state in the country from gun violence. We're not far from that, frankly, and to make us the state that actually has the safest, the strongest gun laws. Senator Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg, who is, by the way, one of the sponsors of the bill that we're here to talk about in the main, namely the limitation on bullets in an ammunition magazine, Assembly Majority Leader Lou Greenwald, and Speaker Sheila Oliver. So I think I'll. Oh, it's good. Oh man. And of course, Assemblyman Gordon Johnson. And Senator Nia Gill. She's here? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Senator Nia Gill. Boy. So we'll start with. First speaker will be Nelba Marquez-Greene, whose daughter Anna was killed at Sandy Hook. Nelba.
Good morning. My name is Nelba Marquez-Greene, and I'm Anna's mother, who was murdered on December 14th at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And I'm also Isaiah's mother. He overheard the execution of his sister and 19 of her friends, and 6 of his staff and teachers. As difficult as it is for me to be here, I owe it to my sweet caramel princess Anna to make sure that I do everything I can to speak up and help end gun violence. It is an unfortunate honor to be in New Jersey this morning. My children and I have spent countless days in New Jersey enjoying Teaneck, where our family lives. The truth is, what happened in Newtown can't happen in any town. I am so grateful that New Jersey leaders understand this. In an instant, any mother in America could be in my shoes, and no one should ever have to feel that pain. I'm here for Anna, and I am here for the 8 children we lose daily in America to gun violence. I am here today asking the New Jersey legislature to reduce the number of rounds in magazines from 15 to 10, excuse me. I support the Second Amendment, and I have no interest in taking away anyone's gun rights. But I know that outside of a shooting range, the only use for large capacity magazines is to kill as many people as possible. Limiting the sale of high capacity magazines does not affect a hunter's ability to enjoy their sport. While there are many unanswered questions about December 14th, we know that lives have been saved when a shooter has had to stop and reload. At my daughter's school, 11 children had the opportunity to escape when the shooter reloaded. Anna would not have been one of those children that was saved, but I'd be happy if there were more survivors that day, even if Anna hadn't made it. We ask all senators and assembly members to please take action. While federal policy is being debated in Washington, the states can take the lead to make our community safer and ultimately save lives. Thank you.
Say who you are.
Of course. Hello, my name is Nicole Hockley. I'm here today as the mother of my beautiful 6-year-old boy, Dylan Hockley, who was killed on December 14th at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Although it's extraordinarily difficult to come out and do this and keep doing this, I feel I owe it to Dylan to advocate on behalf of stronger gun legislation so that no other parent has to feel the pain that we feel. We are determined to turn our tragedy into transformation that saves lives. At the beginning of this month, we worked with our state legislator in Connecticut to strengthen our gun safety laws in order to reduce gun violence. These laws do not interfere with the Second Amendment rights of the vast majority of gun owners who are responsible and law-abiding. These laws are instead designed to keep guns out of the hands of criminals and others who are dangerous to society. Although we don't live in New Jersey, the issue of gun violence transcends state lines and politics. We're your neighbors by geography, but we're just like you in our desire to keep our children and our communities safe. New Jersey should not wait until there's a new town. That happens here. No state should. Every day, deaths due to gun violence can be prevented, and that's why we are here today. New Jersey has already done some extraordinarily good work to create some of the strongest gun safety provisions in the country, and we applaud that. We're here to support this legislation being considered, but in particular to address a key component we believe is missing, the reduction in the size of magazines to a maximum capacity of 10 bullets. Because we learned, the way no other parent should learn, that the most dangerous part of an assault weapon is the magazine. The horrible, brutal truth is that 154 bullets were fired in 4 minutes, killing 20 of our children and 6 of our educators at Sandy Hook. The shooter carried 10 30-round large-capacity magazines, that's 300 rounds. He chose to leave the smaller capacity magazines at home, knowing he could kill more people more quickly using higher capacity magazines. We have learned that in the time it took him to reload in one of the classrooms, 11 children were able to escape. That was Dylan's classroom. He was not able to escape. So I'm one of those parents who ask myself every day, every minute, if those magazines had held 10 rounds instead of 30, forcing the shooter to reload many more times, would my son be alive today? So please hear us. Have the courage to stand up for what you know is right, and we urge the New Jersey legislators to limit large capacity magazines as part of the comprehensive gun legislation being proposed. Thank you.
We'll now hear from Nicola Bokor of Ceasefire, New Jersey.
Hi, thank you. I'd like to thank, as a New Jersey advocate, the families from Connecticut and the legislators who have been working very hard on strong gun legislation in New Jersey. In particular, obviously, I believe we have up here the Assembly Majority Leader Lou Greenwald and Speaker Sheila Oliver. From the Senate, I'm proud that we have standing with us the sponsors of the 10-round bill, Senator Nia Gill and Senator Loretta Weinberg. The work being put in is inspiring, and we are grateful that here in New Jersey we can get things done. But it's really important to not leave out the inclusion of the 10-round magazine as we move forward to a vote on the floor in the Senate in May. This is a very common sense measure. In addition to the powerful statements that you just heard, this is a measure that does not impact the rights of gun owners, but instead is focused on saving lives. We have inconveniences daily that we take, that we accept, that we embrace, because it's in the interest of public safety. When you are playing a round of golf, you will take your time and you will switch clubs. When you or your family member is playing a contact sport, you will spend significant time in the locker room, putting on pads, making sure you're protected. The difference between what we're asking the legislator to do today and those measures that people already embrace when it comes to dangers in sports is that this package, this bill, will save the lives not just of those participating in the sport, but also those outside. There isn't a reason in the world I can think of that we shouldn't be listening to exactly what was just said and be including this bill. And I sincerely hope that it will be a part of the package when it goes to a vote in May. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll hear from Mandy Perlmutter of Moms Demand Sense about...
I'll say it.
I'm sorry, you tell me.
Hi, my name is Mandy Perlmutter. I'm involved with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, New Jersey. We are so grateful to the families from Newtown for being here today, and I know that I speak for countless parents, mothers and fathers when I say thank you for fighting this fight, and thank you to all of our elected officials who are here supporting this effort. Almost 80 people in New Jersey have died violent gun-related deaths since the tragedy in Newtown. Surely closing loopholes, as these measures will be a step in making our streets and communities safer. It will take time, we know, but without actions, our communities will only become more dangerous and our children more fearful. So thank you. Just to reiterate, we hope that our legislature will be bold and support the reduction in magazine limits to 10 rounds. Thank you.
I just say it, not to contradict Mandy, but I frankly don't think it takes boldness to get this done. This just makes so much sense and is so supported by the people in this state that I'm a little puzzled why we're even standing here today and why these people have taken the time to come down from their time to talk to you, to the citizens of this state and the legislators of this state. You heard that, and you all know that just in the last couple weeks, things have ground to a halt, if you will, in Washington to bring national change. New Jersey has always been a leader on the issue of preventing gun violence, and it's time. And we have always pulled the other states in the country on this issue. And I think it's obvious that we need to do that again, and that this is a great opportunity. Both houses have put forward strong packages of legislation. We have some issues, perhaps, with some issues. But without a ban on these high-capacity magazines, there'll be a glaring hole. And we're determined, and when I say we, I mean our coalition, New-Jerseyans for Safety from Gun Violence. And we're going to be working with the folks from Newtown, and we're going to expand our coalition, and we're going to do everything we can to make this happen. And it's my view that it will happen because the citizens will demand it. So that's if you will, formal portion of this. We'll take a few questions, and we thank, again, everyone for being here today.
Would you talk a little bit about the level of frustration you're feeling after what happened in Washington, what's happening here, the resistance that you keep getting, given what happened? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Sure.
think we're discouraged. We're disappointed. We're not discouraged.
I'm sorry.
As far as our level of frustration over what happened in Washington, we were disappointed. But I think we all remain committed to seeing this through, and I think we have the support of most of America. And that transcends politics. It's just about saving lives, and I think everybody can get behind that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Nobody, I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak for you guys, but I think it's fair to say that nobody woke up in the morning and thought this was going to be easy. We knew that this was going to be a long a journey, and whatever we can do, we're going to do it. And I think it's really important to stay focused on efforts that have passed and people who are making change. And some things are changing, unfortunately, due to our tragedy. And we don't want there to have to be another tragedy in order for more to change. And that's my biggest frustration.
Miss, I don't know how many of you still have children in Newtown. I know you mentioned that, Jay, you do. Even Newtown turned down their own security referendum for school security. How do you keep standing up and going through these press conferences from Washington to New Jersey and every day, knowing that, right? And do you feel as though your kids are still safe in Newtown schools?
Can you step to the microphone?
My son and Isaiah are in the same classroom, and I wouldn't be sending my kid to school if I didn't feel that he was safe there. But we're not here to talk about the other referendums and activities going on in Connecticut. We're here to focus on the legislation being proposed here, so we're not really going to comment on that other aspect.
What happened in Washington, it's upsetting a little bit to know that 90% of the Democrats supported common sense gun change and background checks, and 90% of the Republicans did not. And it's something that 90% of the American population does support. There's many changes that have to happen, I feel, to make the change effective. And one of the main characteristics in all these mass shootings was an assault-style weapon or with high-capacity magazines. My son Jesse was in Dylan's class. There were 5 children murdered that day. There were 11 that survived. It said that Jesse yelled, "Run, run now." And 4 of those children ran and 4 more ran. And it was while Adam Lanza was reloading. And he went into that school with 11 magazines, high-capacity magazines with 30 rounds in them for that assault rifle. 154 rounds were fired. Along with that, he had 22 other magazines on him with the capacity of 20 rounds in each of them. That's over 700 rounds of ammunition. And that was enough to kill every child in that school. And if he had to reload 3 times instead of 1 time, there would have been more lives that were spared. And probably my son Jesse would be alive today, along with Dylan. And, it's something I don't wish upon any person or any family to ever have to deal with. And we all support the Second Amendment. And these are just common sense changes that will save lives.
Senate Majority Leader Humbert, is your bill now formally part of the Senate package? And will we go through the committee process and will be voted on?
The bill that Senator Nia Gill and I have prime sponsored will not be heard today, and probably will not be heard if we have an overflow today into Thursday. However, let me take a moment to say to the family members who are here, thank you for being here. You are very right. This has nothing to do with state lines. It has to do with all of our families and all of our children and grandchildren. But I can assure you that anybody who knows me or knows Nia Gill we have never walked away from advocating, from fighting, from speaking out on what we believe in. And though I can't give you any written guarantees, I am going to continue working and hope to see this portion, the reduction of the magazine rounds from 15 to 10, signed into, well, I can't say signed into law, but passed by the New Jersey legislature before this year ends. Having said all of that, I would like to point out that we are not Washington. We do have strong gun safety laws here in New Jersey, and the package we are going to hear today makes those strong laws stronger. They will call for instant background checks. They will call for safety training. So we are going to continue working to make all of the children of New Jersey and all of the children in our nation safer. And we're going to see a comprehensive gun safety package passed in New Jersey. And that is a promise that I'm making personally to each and every family member who have the courage to come out and do this over and over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As Majority Leader Weinberg said, Loretta and I will work to have this bill heard. But as President Obama said when he recently spoke in Colorado, we're not going to wait for the next Newtown before we act. The people of New Jersey demand progress, and that is what we are committed to. This is the beginning of the legislative process. The bills that are before the committee today will strengthen loopholes. We cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good by saying that if we do not have the reduction bill in the package, no law will go forward. We are committed. This is the beginning. We will fight. We know how to fight, and we know how to get results, and we will get results. But let the bills go forward. Let that protection be statutorily advanced. And we know even in the civil rights movement, sometimes the first time out isn't successful, but you fight and you fight and you fight. And at the end of the day, you will get the result that you wanted. This is like the civil rights movement. We are in this. Loretta and I are in this until the end, so we will have the reduction of arms bill. Thank you.
I'm just going to say something. With all respect, and I mean that, Loretta Weinberg has been an absolute champion in this state, the most hardest working person on the issue of gun violence prevention in this state in the last 20 years. And Nia Gills provided great leadership as well. And we heard them say that they will continue to provide great leadership. But we're not talking about opposition that is the reason that this bill is not up. It could be up. It's up to the leadership and I'm sorry, I'm going to get in big trouble for this, but frankly, it's time for the leadership to move it. And that's why we're here today, to try to get that to happen. So thank you very much. We're glad.
I'm sorry. I have just briefly. I've worked hand in hand with Loretta and Nia on this package. We've met numerous times. The reason many of you have asked, why am I standing so closely and so tightly and committed to my legislation? And I've said to you time and time again, it is not my legislation. It is these parents' legislation. It is in the spirit of the souls of their children. It is my children's legislation. I have 3 children. Many of you have met them. I debated whether or not to bring them here today. I wanted to bring my children here today because I think this is one of the greatest educations that they could receive. It was a challenge for me to decide. But I can remember in my time here when I started my career with Loretta and Nia in the Assembly, all 3 of my children have been born while I have served here. And on many of the late nights when I would leave all of you and I would go home when they were infants, I would sneak a glimpse into their crib just to see them breathe, because I could not believe that I had been given such a gift as these children. After this tragedy in Newtown, after the tragedy in Arizona, I have to tell you, after Newtown, I watched my children leave my house and I peeked a glimpse through the curtain to watch them get on the bus because I was afraid that I may have taken for granted the moment of seeing them. That night, even though my oldest daughter is 15 and my twins are 12, I came home that night again to watch them breathe because I wasn't sure how safe they were anymore leaving. This is not a continual battle where we have to go forward. The assault weapons ban limited the capacity to 10 in the 90s. It was effective. We are going back to that period. This is something that is common sense. When this maniac left his home on that day to go to this school and attack these children, a maniac had enough common sense to leave home the magazines with lower capacity. When someone asks, what is the difference between 15 and 10? When Congresswoman Gifford went to a supermarket shopping center to meet her constituents, as we do all the time, a young 9-year-old girl wanted to interact with her congressman because she loved government politics. Much like I watched, as many of you knew my mother, watched her do that at the supermarket. That 9-year-old girl was killed with the 13th bullet in that chamber. The difference between 15 and 10 could be your child. It was their child. As a parent, I sat on my sofa and watched these families testify about why this was important to them, and their words echoed in my heart. I heard them talk about how they used to sit on their sofas and watch the news as they would hear about these tragedies happening time and time again, and the sorrow in their minds and whether or not they thought it would happen here, until it did. If this tragedy had been transplanted from Connecticut to New Jersey, the reality is we'd be passing this legislation now. And the lesson learned is, if it happened in Connecticut, it can happen in New Jersey, and we should not wait. The Speaker and I, and the Senate sponsors of this legislation, I believe, are open to compromise and discussion. We have offered amendments to the entire package, and I applaud the governor's office, and I applaud the Senate, because there are worthy components in each of the packages of bills. But ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is this legislation, as Majority Leader Weinberg and I originally started to craft it, was designed to do something very simple. It was designed to walk a balance between preserving the Second Amendment and preventing gun violence. And without this piece, we will fail on the portion of protecting against gun violence going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we are passing legislation to ban high-powered laser printers. We have worked on legislation because a child tragically lost their life in a baseball game because they were hit with an aluminum bat, a ball that came ricocheting off that aluminum bat. What are we talking about here? These are high-capacity magazines that will not affect the single use of a single gun in the state of New Jersey or anywhere in the country. It is something that had already taken place during the 1990s and was incredibly successful during the assault weapons ban. We are not fighting for some new right. We're fighting to go back and find the balance between what has worked and we know has worked. I will not rest until this passes. And this is not about a package of bill versus another package of bill. It is not a dispute between Democrats. This is when the tragedies took place around the country and when the tragedies took place in this school, nobody went in and identified the bodies by their voter identification card. This is not about politics. This is about common sense. It always has been, it always will be. And our commitment is to continue to fight for that message until this is over. These families deserve no less. These children will touch more lives in their short lifespan than most of us will touch in our entire careers. The legacy of these children, the impact that they will make, will save tens of thousands of lives by the passage of this legislation. It is done not in their memory, but it is done in their honor, and it is done for what they stand for. And their parents are fighting for that honor and that memory. Thank you for being here.